Welcome to our discussion on how to navigate mental traps during your spiritual awakening journey. Throughout this exploration, we will uncover insights and practical advice to guide you through the complexities of spiritual growth without falling into common psychological snares that can hinder our progress. In this first segment, we'll focus on understanding what mental traps are and how they manifest specifically during spiritual awakenings. A mental trap, simply put, is a habitual thought pattern that contradicts effective personal and spiritual development. These are often subconscious and can lead to feelings of stagnation, frustration, and disillusionment with one's spiritual path. One of the most pervasive mental traps is the attachment to outcomes. In our spiritual journeys, it's common to have expectations about what enlightenment or awakening should look and feel like. You might envision achieving a permanent state of peace or an uninterrupted connection with the divine. However, the emphasis on these results can skew our perception of the path itself. It turns the journey into a destination-focused pursuit, where every practice or meditation session is weighed against an expected outcome. This creates pressure and disappointment when the experiences do not align with our preconceived notions. How often have we set out in our spiritual practices seeking some form of validation or a specific state of being, only to find ourselves upset or disillusioned when that state proves elusive? The truth is, spiritual awakening is not a linear process. It is full of ups and downs, insights, and plateaus. When we fixate on specific outcomes, we fail to recognize and appreciate the subtle yet profound transformations occurring within us. Another significant mental trap is the belief that spiritual progress is quantifiable. In our everyday lives, we are conditioned to measure progress in incremental and tangible terms. We apply the same logic to spiritual growth, attempting to quantify our advancements and setbacks. This approach, however, does not translate well into spiritual practice, where changes are often intangible and deeply personal. The trap here lies in the tendency to constantly evaluate and judge ourselves, which can lead to self-criticism and doubt when we don't see measurable progress. Consider the early stages of meditation practice, where the mind might frequently wander. If you judge your meditation quality by how often your mind wanders, you might feel like a failure. Yet, the effort and discipline to bring your focus back each time your mind drifts are where the real growth occurs. It's a profound exercise in patience and perseverance. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. To avoid these mental traps, it's essential to shift our mindset from one of achieving to one of experiencing. This means engaging in spiritual practices without the heavy burden of expectation. It involves observing our experiences as they are, without immediately categorizing them as successes or failures. This perspective encourages a more compassionate and patient approach to our spiritual journey. Furthermore, embracing a mindset of curiosity can be incredibly freeing. When you approach your spiritual practices with curiosity, you open yourself up to a range of possibilities and allow yourself to experience each moment fully. This not only enriches your spiritual journey but also helps in avoiding the frustration that comes with unmet expectations. In essence, the first step to avoiding mental traps in your spiritual awakening journey is to understand and recognize these traps. From there, it becomes possible to consciously shift our approaches and attitudes, which in turn liberates us from the limitations imposed by these psychological snares. Navigating the illusion of isolation in spiritual growth. In the second segment of our discussion, we delve into understanding the mental trap of isolation that many encounter on their spiritual paths. This isolation isn't just physical, it's often a psychological sense of separation from others, which can emerge as we delve deeper into our personal spiritual practices. When we embark on a spiritual journey, there's an initial tendency to withdraw from everyday social interactions to dedicate more time to meditation, contemplation, and other spiritual practices. While solitude is invaluable for deep introspection and connection with the inner self, excessive isolation can lead to a sense of detachment from the world around us. This detachment, while it might seem spiritually motivated, can paradoxically lead to a feeling of loneliness and separation that hampers the very growth we seek. Think about the times when you have felt alone in your spiritual pursuits, believing perhaps that others might not understand your experiences or that your path is uniquely solitary. This feeling, while common, is a significant mental trap because it underestimates the power of shared human experiences and the support systems that are essential for sustained spiritual growth. The truth is, spiritual development is not just a journey inward, but also a process of expanding our connections with the world around us. It involves recognizing the interconnectedness of all life and understanding that our personal enlightenment is linked to the collective consciousness. When we isolate ourselves, we risk losing perspective and the enriching input that can be gained from others' experiences and wisdom. To counteract this trap, it is beneficial to seek out communities or groups that share similar spiritual interests. Engaging with a community does not mean you need to compromise on your personal journey or conform to others' paths. Rather, it provides a platform for exchange, learning, growth, and support. Within a community, you can find mentors and peers who provide encouragement, challenge your perspectives, and offer companionship through shared experiences. Moreover, integrating service into your spiritual practice can be a powerful way to connect with others and apply your spiritual insights in a tangible way. Service, whether within your local community or beyond, grounds spiritual concepts in everyday actions and interactions. It reinforces the idea that spiritual awakening is not just about personal transcendence, but also about contributing positively to the lives around us. Furthermore, consider the role of empathy in spiritual growth. Empathy connects us to others by allowing us to understand and share the feelings of another person. It is a profound practice that not only alleviates isolation, but also deepens our own spiritual insights by showing us the diverse ways in which individuals experience life and spirituality. Therefore, while solitude is an essential ingredient in the recipe of spiritual awakening, balancing it with community interaction and service can protect us from the mental trap of isolation. This balance ensures that our spiritual journey is both personally enriching and outwardly connected, fostering a more holistic approach to spiritual growth, dissolving the illusion of spiritual superiority. In this third part of our exploration, we address a subtle but pervasive mental trap that can emerge on the spiritual path, the illusion of spiritual superiority. This trap manifests when individuals begin to see their spiritual insights and practices as a hierarchy, placing themselves above others who may not share the same beliefs or levels of awareness. The feeling of spiritual superiority often starts innocently as confidence in the path one has chosen. However, it can evolve into a rigid mindset where one's own spiritual experiences or practices are viewed as superior or more correct than those of others. This mindset not only alienates us from others, but also contradicts the very essence of many spiritual teachings which emphasize unity, compassion, and humility. Why do we fall into this trap? Often, it is because spiritual progress can feel empowering. As we learn and grow, there is a natural human tendency to want to measure and compare. However, In the domain of spiritual growth, such comparisons are not only unhelpful, but can also be misleading. They distract us from the internal work of spiritual awakening, which is inherently a personal and unique journey that does not lend itself to comparison. Consider this: spiritual awakening involves expanding our awareness and understanding, dissolving the ego and recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. When we indulge in feelings of superiority, we are essentially allowing the ego to reassert itself in a new, subtler form. This not only stalls our spiritual development, but also impacts our ability to genuinely connect with others. To escape this trap, it is crucial to cultivate humility and openness in our spiritual practice. Humility in spirituality is recognizing that while our path is deeply meaningful to us, it is not the only path to truth. Every individual is on their own journey, and all paths are valid and worthy of respect. This doesn't mean diluting our beliefs, but rather acknowledging that our perspective is just one window in a vast mansion of rooms, each offering a different view. Practicing genuine openness involves listening to and learning from the experiences of others without judgment. This can be deeply enriching, as it allows us to see the multifaceted nature of truth and spiritual expression. It broadens our understanding and deepens our connection with the diversity of life experiences. Additionally, we can use mindfulness to be aware of when feelings of superiority begin to creep into our thoughts. Mindfulness helps us observe these thoughts without attachment, recognize them for what they are, and gently steer our mindset back towards one of compassion and equality. In practical terms, engaging in interfaith or interspiritual dialogues can be an excellent way to cultivate this openness. These interactions not only challenge us to articulate our own beliefs more clearly, but also expose us to the rich tapestry of spiritual experiences and wisdom traditions around the world. Embracing equanimity, beyond over-identification in spiritual practice. As we approach the concluding part of our discourse on avoiding mental traps in the spiritual awakening journey, we turn our focus to a common yet often overlooked pitfall: the over-identification with spiritual experiences. This trap involves becoming so attached to certain spiritual states, experiences, or identities that they begin to overshadow the broader purpose of our spiritual growth. Over-identification can manifest in various ways. For some, it might be an attachment to the mystical experiences one might have during meditation or prayer, leading to a chase for these experiences as validation of one's spiritual status. For others, it could be a rigid adherence to a particular spiritual identity or role that they believe defines them. While these experiences and roles can be part of our spiritual journey, over-identification with them can limit our growth and lead to disappointment when our spiritual life naturally ebbs and flows. The essence of spiritual maturity is the ability to maintain equanimity, a balanced state of mind that remains unshaken by fluctuating circumstances. This includes our spiritual experiences. When we learn to observe our experiences without clinging to them, we cultivate a deeper, more stable form of spiritual awareness that is not dependent on conditions or states. How do we achieve this state of equanimity? It starts with understanding the impermanent nature of all experiences. Just as in meditation we observe thoughts coming and going without attachment, we can apply the same principle to our broader spiritual experiences. By recognizing that every state is transient, we free ourselves from the need to hold on to them, and instead focus on the continual process of growth and understanding. Additionally, integrating daily life as part of our spiritual practice is vital. Often there's a tendency to separate spiritual activities from mundane ones. However, true spiritual awakening permeates all aspects of our lives, turning every action, interaction, and moment into an opportunity for practice and reflection. This integration helps prevent the over-identification with narrowly defined spiritual experiences because it broadens our understanding of spirituality as something we live, not something we occasionally attain. Another practical approach is the practice of self-inquiry. This involves questioning our attachments and the identities we create around our spiritual life. By regularly asking ourselves questions like, "What am I holding on to right now?" or "Why am I clinging to this specific spiritual identity?" we can uncover the roots of our attachments and begin to loosen them. Lastly, the value of humility, as discussed earlier, cannot be overstressed. It allows us to remain open and receptive, aware that no matter how far we have come in our spiritual journey, there is always more to learn and room to grow. It keeps us grounded and connected to the reality that the spiritual path is not about achieving a perfect state, but about continually evolving, learning, and contributing to the world around us. As we wrap up our exploration of mental traps in the spiritual awakening journey, let us remember that avoiding these traps is not about perfection or never experiencing challenges. Rather, it's about developing awareness, flexibility, and the tools to navigate the journey with grace and wisdom. Each step, each realization, and each moment of reconnection with our path is a part of the beautiful, ongoing process of awakening. Thank you for accompanying me on this insightful exploration. I hope it serves you well on your spiritual path.